Hello, Talking Fight fans around the world. Welcome to another episode of the Friday Night Panel without Derek. But we've got Christian and Mike joining us. And
Yeah, sorry, brushing the beard, man. Getting those crumbs out.
We have a couple of things to talk about. One, we have some fights from last weekend that have churned some interesting headlines this past week. We've got the fights in Puerto Rico that we were following last night. We've got the big card tonight, the historic fights are going to take place, take place if Claressa wins. And then, of course, we have a weekend tomorrow full of fights as well. So we got a whack of stuff to talk about. I would just like to bring up a gentleman who was fighting last weekend. Everyone recalled Joseph Parker and Junior Foss fight.
Yes.
Spawning the headlines this week that Joseph Parker has separated from his longtime trainer. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting that it wasn't one of our more notable fights ever. But anyway, Christian and I were talking earlier about Zhang, and anyway, I just saw a headline where he goes, "I'd love to fight Anthony Joshua in China." Mm-hmm. Anyway. Go ahead, guys.
Do we have time? Do we have time, Graham, before we get into the fights for a history lesson or a tidbit?
Hey, absolutely. I didn't realize.
Are we doing one of those tonight? If we've got a moment,
let's hear it. Let's hear it.
We have only because Derek's not with us.
Only quit making him feel bad. He'll be back. He's busy. We miss you, buddy. We'll get you back on here soon. So one of the things that we've been talking about ever since the Tyson Pillow fight keeps coming up. Do we need fans in the crowd? Like this comes up all the time in our conversations. We say with the modern format that comes up in our Olympic talks, we don't need big cities to hold these tournaments anymore. We can do these in, I don't want to say not second class cities, obviously, but smaller population cities because you're not bringing in that many people. I mean, on average, if you saw like a Floyd Mayweather fight, the last one he fought, I think the gate was 16,000 people. That was max capacity for that. So how does 16,000 people compare to, say, the biggest attendances in the history of boxing? Typically, boxing matches, like I said, are held in smaller venues. Smaller than what we'd use for something, say, like, soccer or football. But there have been in the past some pretty big crowds reported. I mean, bouts at Wembley between, like Joshua and Klitschko, for example, would be a recent one that would spring to mind. But that doesn't come anywhere close to actually coming like to topping the list of the biggest matches that have ever taken place. So tonight, I want to take a quick look at the top 5 that have happened so far. At number 5, Max Schmeling versus Walter Neusol. Now, Walter Neusol was a German heavyweight boxer, and before he came to America, where he became famous for his aggressive approach in the ring. Now, there he joined Max Schmeling, who was already heavyweight champion between 1930 and 1932. Okay. Now, the pair came together in their first bout. They met a couple of times in 1934, and it was held in Hamburg in Germany. And the attendance was thought to be 102,000. Now, such was a huge interest in the fight. It was, Schmeling did come out on top of this one after the fight was stopped in the 9th due to TKO, technical knockout. So 102,000 for the 5th biggest. Number 4 coming in was Jack Dempsey versus Gene Tooney. Now, this was the second meeting between these two great fighters, and it would become known as the long count fight. Now, the reason for that was because when Gene Tooney was on the floor, the count was delayed because Jack Dempsey would not go back to the neutral corner. So this fight generated, it big interest, and it was the first $2 million gate in entertainment history. The bout took place at Soldier Field in Chicago and attracted 104,943 fans. Now, Tooney went on to win this fight by unanimous decision, and it was Dempsey's last career fight. Okay, so coming in at number 3, Jack Dempsey versus Gene Tooney. Is this sounding familiar? Now, this is the first meeting between Jack Dempsey and Gene Tooney, and it did draw a huge crowd and interest from the boxing community and sports in general. And I know we're doing these fights out of order, but for our purposes, this kind of works. Now, this one was held at Sesquicentennial Stadium in Philadelphia for 120,557 people. That's how many people packed in to see these guys go toe-to-toe. This was the record attendance for any boxing match that held that record for 60 years. Dempsey had been the big favorite to win. However, it's believed that he actually had food poisoning at the time of the fight, having ingested a small glass of olive oil beforehand. Tooney went on to dominate the fight and, creating one of the biggest upsets we've ever seen in boxing history. It's a big one. Number 2, Julio Cesar Chavez versus Greg Hogan.
Oh,
now let's fast forward. Yeah, 1993 in Mexico City was the stage for the fight between Julio Cesar Chavez and Greg Hogan. Now, this match took place at the huge Estadio Azteca, which is the scene of both the 1970 as well as the 1986 World Cup finals. So this was a night to forget for Hogan, who went down almost immediately in the first round. He fought on and he made it all the way up to about the 5th, where Chavez knocked him down again, and this time he wasn't getting up again. And that was in front of 132,247 spectators. But coming in at number 1, Tony Zale versus Billy Pryor. So for the biggest fight attendance in history of boxing, we got to jump back to the 1940s here and the contest between Tony Zale and Billy Pryor. Now, what makes this fight a little different from the ones we just spoke of a moment ago is this was a free show. So nobody was asked to buy a ticket for this one, as opposed to the $2 million gate for Dempsey there. The bout was held at Juneau Park in Milwaukee, and just over 135,000 people were said to have attended. Zale was the favorite, and the fight did quickly develop in his favor. He had Pryor on the back foot for most of the contest, and eventually knocked him out. These two eventually knocked him out, having previously put him on the cameras several times prior to that. So those are your 5 biggest attendances in boxing history. And we keep talking about this, and we keep saying that, are the crowds even necessary at this point? As now, obviously, as a spectator sport, we have the benefit of instant replays. We've got television. We've got this medium right here in which we can consume this sort of thing. Because I can't imagine if you were one of 135,000 people who showed up to see Zale fight, that you had the best view. I mean, at some point in time, but sheer physics says that, you've either got the binoculars out or you're looking at somebody this big in the background. You're not getting the nuances of the fight. You're not seeing, generalmanship around the ring and things like that. Was that an uppercut? Who knows? But that's the biggest crowds we've had so far.
Wow. Well then, that being said, what do you think the crowd in attendance is going to be tonight?
Doesn't even matter. I mean, the pay-per-view audience is going to be millions.
Well, that's the new metric, isn't it? I mean, it's not quite the same as the roar of the crowd or any of that, but that the pay-per-view numbers are the new metric for success in something like this.
See,
Mike and I,
without the crowd, you get to hear the smack of the leather on the face, which really excites me.
That's what we were talking. That's what we were talking about last weekend. You get to hear the cornerman. You get to hear the jab. You get to hear it all, including the.
Yeah. Or the guy poop his pants when he gets a nice gut shot.
Anyway, so I don't mind it. I don't mind it when there's no crowds. It's kind of fun. And if you go back to like any of these period piece movies or television shows that have a boxing match, realistically, there's like 20 people around the ring, and these guys beating the hell out of each other. Anyway,
we've talked about fights in the past that took place in the early part of the late part of the 1800s and that where we saw tens of thousands of people, including the Prince of Wales, showing up to a field in the south of England to watch two guys bare knuckle box for 50 rounds. So there have been these large crowds throughout history, but even for the period pieces. But are they really necessary in the modern age? Arguably, no.
No, but it does make for good ticket sales.
It's all about the money, and that's what Claressa Shields was all about. She was offered some pilly amount of money by Showtime. So she said, "Nah, you know what? I'm going pay-per-view. I'm going to prove to you how big women's boxing is."
She's also thinking about making a jump to MMA as well. She was talking about
they all say that.
Yeah, you know what? Like honestly, let's say she wins tonight, becomes undisputed champ in 2 weight classes. She's a 3 weight class champion already. She's going to become undisputed in 2. What else does she have to prove in boxing?
Well, either way, somebody's record is dropping tonight because both these fighters are undefeated at this point in time.
Yes.
So
yes,
somebody's losing their record tonight. Who's it going to be?
It's going to be Takara.
Well, 10-0. Well, Takara's got the 17-0 record.
That's okay, man. It's okay. You know why? Because Claressa Shields has more tools in her arsenal, and she's going to be able to come through with the W. Claressa Shields all the way for tonight. That's my prediction. You know, she's the GOAT, man. She's the greatest of all time.
No, it's GWOAT.
No.
GW.
No. So you have to remove the W now because if she becomes
yes.
the undisputed in 2 weight classes, that's the first time male or female. So she is the GOAT, not the GWOAT, the GOAT. until a man does that, she holds that title. Let's be real.
That's cool.
So
the
challenge.
Well, I don't think we need to do. I think we're getting to a point in time where we're no longer needing to necessarily differentiate between. It's like, oh, we don't need to put the asterisk next to her name saying yes, but it was a woman who won that. Was holding that undisputed in 2 weight classes. I think it can just stand on its own at this point in time, rather than till a man takes that title. I think for this point, you can kind of say she wins tonight. She goes down in the history books as forever having been the first fighter to have done such
in the 4-belt era.
Yes, in the 4-belt era. Thank you.
Neil made a great comment on the Neil the Deal show earlier when he made reference to the professional women's hockey league that has just been launched. And he watched, I believe, the first game and said it was a great game, exciting game, but these women are professionals. So regardless of whether it's a man or a woman skating, it was a professional game of hockey played, and it was exciting to watch. Same thing for women boxing. It's exciting to watch, and there should be no differentiation.
You just hope to see it promoted better, so you don't end up with like a WNBA kind of situation where it's out there, it exists, but it just does not receive anywhere close to the same amount of attention as obviously the NBA does. So we need to find a way to better promote within the sport, and a lot of it comes to breaking down barriers. I want to start seeing mixed cards. I want to start seeing things like a Claressa Shields fight before an Alvarez fight. On the same card. It doesn't have to be just an all-female card or an all-male card kind of thing. Once we start to normalize the experience of seeing female fighters on big ticket cards, as a regular thing, then it stops becoming a weird thing. It stops becoming, well, not that it is, but it stops being viewed as a sideshow or a side event to the main event. Sideshow obviously being the wrong term.
There are other leagues that are doing a pretty good job of marketing their women, including the UFC, of course. But you take a look at the bare knuckle boxing. These guys are promoting their women not only as incredible athletes, but quite good looking, and they're taking advantage of it, and they're attracting big audiences. So
I think that's only because people want to see people get hurt, no matter male or female, man. Bare knuckle, come on. You're opening up eyelids, you're breaking fingers and hands, teeth are going to go missing. It's an exciting event. I've watched bare
more broken knuckles than anything else in bare knuckle.
Oh, and lots of split eyebrows. They just tend to pop very easily. Speaking from experience. What I've noticed is that there's actually a few men that have been slid into this card tonight. Actually, with
you were saying,
apparently Timur Kurfov and Manny Woods will be fighting at 163 pounds, and Robert Sims 238 versus Aaron Quintana at 206. So they're another heavyweight bout on there, and they've been stuck in at the bottom of the card. So the girl that I talked about earlier, Danielle, is the co-main event tonight. 2-0. It's gonna be great. Actually, I think she's gonna come through with the W there, and finally, we're gonna see a heavyweight champion in the women's boxing, because that title's been vacant forever, and I think it's gonna open up a lot in the sport and allow these women that 200 plus pounds to come in here and do it, man. 175 to 200 is in around where they fall, and it's great, man. Like Danielle, she moves like a middleweight but hits like a truck. So we're gonna see a lot from her tonight. She's already fought Monica. She brought it to her the first time, came through with a 4-round unanimous decision. Let's just see if she can put her away tonight. I'm hoping that we're going to see big things. She's come, a long way since then. This is her third fight, so ring experience speaks for a lot of things. She does have the knockout power. Let's just see if she can put it together tonight and come through with that big knockout, man. And then we can feature her on our show on Sunday, because I definitely would love to do that. And I hope Claressa knocks out Monica. I think or
Marie.
Yeah, Marie. I hope she knocks her out, man. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see the GOAT take it all, man. To be honest.
Where's your hometown pride, buddy? Where's come on? We've got a Canadian going into the ring tonight. An undefeated Canadian boxer stepping into the ring tonight, and your priority is south of the border. I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it is, because you know what? I believe Claressa has the ability to bring it to her, and I don't think Marie has the tools to honestly be able to defend what Claressa's going to bring, man. Like Claressa's got a lot of
strategy. What's the strategy tonight then? If she want a long fight, she want a short fight, she can end it quick, coming out from big points early.
I believe it's going to be a quick event, man. Honestly, it's going to be a quick event. I don't see it going past 5. I don't see it going past 5, to be honest.
I'd argue with you on this one, but you were bang on with the Alvarez fight. You were bang on with the Alvarez fight.
I was bang on with the Alvarez.
And it may or may not have been wishful thinking on my part to think that Yildirim had it in him to go the distance. I didn't think he was going to win.
Yeah,
but I did think that being a former sparring partner of Alvarez's for the Golovkin fights, the first one at least, I thought he would have at least understood the game he had to play a little better.
Yeah, but as a fighter, you're not revealing all of your secrets to your sparring partner. You're never going to reveal all your tools to your sparring partner.
No. It looked like he'd never seen an Alvarez fight in his life. It was
just like a sensei never teaches his student everything, because you know what?
That's just a bad teacher, buddy. That's just a bad teacher. The thing you're describing is a bad teacher.
No, man.
He's not asking the right questions.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe he's just not asking the right. No, but I mean, yeah, Yildirim. Yeah, he was not ready for that fight. You called that one bang on. Third round. I wasn't happy about it.
Well, yes, tonight, man. Honestly, this pay-per-view is going to be epic, man. It's going to be exciting, and it's really going to show that women, no matter what, they're just as exciting as the men. I've been saying this since we started this, this group of ours. The women are just as exciting. They can bring it just as hard as the men. Sometimes they're a little more exciting. These women, they've got it. They got it. And they're gonna put on a great show tonight. And I don't think this is the first card that's gonna be like this. I think we're gonna see lots coming in the future of all these cards with women, and it's gonna be great for the sport. I'm really excited.
Well, really, what happens is somebody needs to get Eddie Hearn on board or something, get him to really start pushing some, adding some women to his cards. And that's when you'll start to see some more money. You'll start to see some more money involved at that point, when you start getting the Eddie Hearns of the world involved in that side of things. On a side note, I see you there, James.
Buy this pay-per-view tonight. Make sure you buy the pay-per-view tonight, fans watching. Trust me, this is going to be an epic event. This is an event you're going to want to watch, because you can tell your grandchildren that you were there and saw it live. Definitely. This is going to be historic. I can't wait to watch it, man. I'm excited already. I want to see people beat the crap out of each other already. I've already watched an event. We're going to talk about that on Sunday, because there's a bunch of knockouts. I've already sent you the videos, Graham. There's been a bunch of events around the world. There's a bunch of events still scheduled around the world tonight. We got an event in Florida. We got one in Argentina. We got one in Sinaloa, Mexico. There was one earlier today in France. There's another event in Australia tonight. we got them all over the world, man. And there's tons of fighters, there's tons of platforms. I'm loving this, and the fact that the women are headlining tonight is huge. It's going to be a big draw, and I think it's going to break numbers, man. It's going to make records, and definitely we're going to see somebody come through and make history tonight, and we're going to see a new heavyweight champion crowned, which is amazing because that heavyweight champion in the female division has been vacant for too long. We need to see some big ladies in there, banging the crap out of each other. That's what I want to see. Nice, full-fledged punch fests, and that's what we're in store for, man. This is going to happen.
And I'll be probably still on with Bola Ray when the first card when the women's.
I think
card.
the main card's due to go for 9 p.m. tonight,
Eastern Standard Time. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'll be up. Can we now that's tonight. Can we take a second and move to last week though for a second? I want to talk about Jerry Forrest.
Who?
I need to talk about this Jerry Forrest fight for a second because I know I was trying to get a group chat started at the time when this was going, but Graham wanted to watch these the next morning because he was watching other fights that night. So, but Mike and I were on the phone at the beginning of this fight.
Yeah.
The Forrest Zhang fight there. And he says to me, which way do you think this is going to go? And I said, I love to see a big man fall. Yeah. I do. I love to watch a big guy hit the mat, but I didn't think it was going to happen. And I was blown away. I mean, 3 times Forrest got dropped in the first 2 rounds?
Yeah, 3 times.
The first time one dead center right on the chin, and he just ragdoll, just done.
Yeah, that was that short. He ate that short little right in that little exchange, and it just fed him, and he dropped. That was awesome.
And I thought that was it. I thought this is game over for this guy. And then as we started to move farther, and then saved by the bell. Okay, perfect. And as we start moving farther and farther into this match, I started to realize after 3. Zhang had nothing left in the tank.
No, man. All he was doing was leaning on him to make him tired, man.
Exactly. So they come in, 2 shots thrown. We end up in a clinch. And what Zhang doing? Zhang's got 4 or 5 inch height on this guy, and Forrest isn't a pixie either. He's 6'1", but every time they come in a clinch, obviously the refs break it up. If you're trying to get out of a clinch, boxers are going to put your arms out. I'm not doing anything. But because of Zhang's height, what he was doing, second Forrest that come in close, he'd come up over top of him and put Forrest's head in his armpit and then just lean on him with his arms out going, I'm trying to get out of this. Well, he was physically pushing down on the back of Forrest's head to keep him there. So in the beginning, this was very obviously a strategy, trying to tire Forrest out. Like he was trying to, frustrate him, trying to tire him out, and it was working to a certain extent. It started to annoy the ref, so they eventually ended up losing points on this one. But you could tell that by the end of the match, it was no longer strategy anymore. Zhang was stepping out of his corner, and he just had nothing left in the tank whatsoever. Like he came out and he was barely on his feet. He was just kind of lumbering around like a drunk. And then, he kind of threw like a haymaker just so he can get an arm up to try to get a headlock off again. And it was
he needed assistance to get back to the dressing room. He was so tired at the end of that fight.
The man's a tree.
Yeah.
The man is a tree. You saw an ant fight. That's what you saw. You saw a man fight a tree.
Yeah, definitely.
And win, I might add. And that's where conditioning came in at the end of this, because he did not have the height, he did not have the weight, he did not have the reach, and he got his bell rung 3 times in a row and still walked away at the end of this because he had better conditioning.
I want to give a shout out to one of our fans that's watching right now, Annie Gurr. Do you have any questions for us? Let us know.
And anyway, going back to Zhang and Forrest, Zhang was asking for a fight with Anthony Joshua. That's what I'd mentioned at the beginning of the show. I just thought it was funny, though, to given the result of that fight, in the sense that it started out so well for him, but ended so pathetically.
He saved nothing. Yeah, the first 3 rounds, because I think he thought he had him. After that, after he dropped him the first time, he thought, no, just need to set up one more of these, and then.
No, what it was is, man, he's got tired.
And you couldn't keep him on the mat. You couldn't keep him on. You could not keep Jerry Forrest on the mat.
No, man, no. That guy's a trooper, man. He's got a head like a brick.
Slugger.
Yeah, definitely. He can eat punches all day long, man. He probably eats them for breakfast.
Did you have any other fights you want to mention from last weekend before we move on to segment number 2 or 3 or 4
or 10 or 8?
Christian?
We got a lot. We got a lot to cover. Now, that was the big one. Obviously, the Alvarez Yildirim fight, but the Jerry Forrest one was the one that actually, blew my mind watching it. That was when I was on the edge of my seat. The first half of it, like I said, I was on the phone with Mikey here, and we're just about, we had to get off the phone because we weren't talking. We were just screaming at the TV while on the phone with each other. I'll call you later and just throw the phone.
It was excellent. It was an excellent fight. Honestly, last week's fights were excellent, man. There was a ton of cards. We saw some great knockouts, man. We profiled them on the show on Sunday. We're going to get the same. We're going to get the same this weekend. There's already been a bunch of knockouts that's happened all day, some yesterday. I can't wait to profile them on Sunday. All the viewers that are watching, make sure you tune in, find out who's going to win our Knockout Artist of the Week. And hopefully it's going to be one of our amazing women on the card tonight. That'd be wonderful.
So we had some fights last night in Puerto Rico. We have a tournament going on in Spain right now, amateur level, sort of a warm-up tournament for the Olympics. Christian and I have been discussing that on our other show. So there's been already some fights.
Semifinals for the Boxam tournament right now in Castella, Spain.
Okay.
Yeah, semifinals and going into the finals tomorrow.
Oh, wow. Time flies.
Yeah, these usually only run about a week.
Right on. And you were watching the Puerto Rican fights last night, Mike?
Yes, I was. It was
and a few knockouts.
Oh, there was 4 knockouts.
Wow.
Mr. Undefeated got knocked out pretty hard, the headliner, and you know what? I'm gonna save all that for Sunday, and I'll tell you about that. But there was 4 knockouts on that card, man. It was an excellent show. Everybody worked really, really hard. Nobody really left it in the judges' hands except 1 or 2. There was another technical, but some real KOs, man. Some real gut busting, head knocking, sleeping on the mat knockouts, man. It was great. And there was some on some other events around the world that I'm still trying to find video for so that we can judge our knockout of the week, because we're not just watching our continent, we're watching all continents, all knockouts around the world. So guys, remember, when you're tuning in for the Sunday knockout, if you find one that you think's better than the one that we're profiling, we want to hear from you, and we want to see that video, man. And then we will correct ourselves if you're right. Definitely. We love bringing you the knockouts from around the world. There's so many fights going on this weekend as well. We're in store for a great knockout weekend. That's for damn sure. And
so just a quick comment before we talk about tomorrow's fights. Christian and I had the pleasure of visiting Puerto Rico a couple of years ago on business, and next to our hotel was an arena. I'm just curious where they held where the boxing.
I'm hoping a slightly larger arena than that,
because it was the actual cockfighting arena that we.
It was next door to our hotel.
It was, and what's that?
And again, you don't need huge crowds. You don't need huge crowds. So it wasn't a huge building.
Wow, did you get free passes into the cockfighting event with your hotel purchase of the night?
If we had asked the concierge, I'm sure they would have set us up.
They probably would have set you up with a nice chicken dinner. Nice chicken dinner ringside.
Anyway, I wonder where they
held for losers.
I wonder where they held the fights though down in Puerto Rico. I was just curious if you knew that.
Yes. I can actually.
Like, are they indoors or outdoors?
They were outdoor actually last night.
Cool.
They were outdoor. It was pretty. It's pretty epic actually. The weather looked way better than it does here. That's for damn sure.
Well, it is Puerto Rico.
Yes, it is Puerto Rico. I can't remember exactly where it was, but I know it was outside.
That doesn't matter. I'm sure it wasn't at the cockfighting arena.
It definitely didn't.
I wouldn't think.
So we have some belts on the line tomorrow.
Yeah.
Any predictions?
What about you?
What are you going to be watching? What are you going to be watching?
What am I going to be watching tomorrow? Oh
yep.
Man, there's too many to even
really
think about. There's oh man,
I'm starting my morning off with the Boxam finals.
That's what you're starting your morning off with?
Well, that's going to be starting off at about 10 a.m. tomorrow. Is going to be the Boxam finals. You can find streams online through the AIBA's Facebook page for that. So some good amateur boxing running up to the Olympics to start off the day tomorrow. Boxam finals.
You know what? Now that I'm going down the list, I don't know which one I'm going to be watching, man, to be honest, because there's just too many events tomorrow. Tomorrow we got, there's one in Georgia. We've got one in Florida, 2 in Florida, actually. One in the Ukraine, Thailand, Mexico, another one in Mexico, 3 in Mexico tomorrow, 4 in Mexico, one in Malta, wow. Italy. We got India, Ghana, Germany, 2 in Germany, 3 in Germany, 1 in France, 2 in France. Like they're all over. So you know what? I'll probably be trying to stream every single one that I can, because you know what I want, man. I want the knockouts, and I got to watch as many fights as I can, and I kind of enjoy it. So I'm gonna watch them all. There's just too many. There's too many. Do you have any predictions for tomorrow night? Who would you like to see win? Who do you think is gonna lose? Which one will you be watching? I wish I had enough screens to watch them all, to be honest.
No, you'll have to take over there, Christian, for a second. I got a slight emergency I'm dealing with.
Oh, all right. So, Christian, are you watching the fights tonight, brother?
Tonight, I will be tuning in for as soon as we get off here. I'm going to be tuning in for tonight's card. Again, as for tomorrow, most of my morning and early afternoon are going to be taken up with amateur boxing. As you know, we spend a lot of time during the week talking about amateur boxing in the run up to the Olympics, and then from there we'll move on to Commonwealth Games. So that's been most of my focus over the last little while. The fight world has been on the up and comings.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? Honestly, it's great because you talk about them, and then, about a year later, they come to me and I start talking about them as they make their pro debuts. It's great. Fight fans that are watching right now, make sure to catch Christian, weekdays at 2 p.m. with his, Olympic.
Noon.
Oh, sorry, noon. Sorry,
wow.
Noon. 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. I forgot you're an early riser, unlike me. I'm not even brother. I'm not even batting an eye at noon. But it's because I stay up late and watch fights on the other side of the world. But yes, I'm so excited for this tonight, man. I can't wait. Let's keep talking. Let's talk about it, man. Who do you think's going to win tonight? Shields?
Yes.
What are you saying, Christian? Shields?
Balance of probability, but you know what? I got the patriotism thing happen. I want to see Dick Hare take this one. I want to see Canadian hold on to her unbeaten record.
And just
that's me. I want to see it come home.
If it does come home,
I don't need Shields to have that record. I don't need her to have be the greatest of all time. That's great for her.
She's already in the record books already, man. She's already
exactly. She's already in there.
She's already in there, man. Yes, I understand. Proud to be Canadian, yes, but does the Canadian have enough to bring it to Shields tonight? We'll find out soon, man. We'll find out soon. Fight fans, make sure that you buy this pay-per-view. Watch this crap, man. Watch this amazing historic event. I can't wait to see these women club the crap out of each other. It's going to be an epic.
Is someone paying you?
Yes.
Christ. I've never heard such a promotion.
Yeah, man. Man. I'm just excited.
Fans, buy this pay-per-view.
I'm excited. You know what? You know why I'm saying buy the pay-per-view? Because it's only $29.99, and that's pretty cheap. Most of these pay-per-views these days are really expensive.
Pay-per-view, that is.
It's $29.99, man. Honestly, fork out the dough, cheap asses, and just buy it. Just buy it. Or find it, stream it, man. You'll be able to find it. Just watch it. It's going to be great. It's going to be a very exciting evening. And then, there's exciting fights tomorrow, too. So we got a great weekend ahead of us. I can't wait. I don't know. What more can we talk about other than it's time to go get ready, grab your beer, grab your popcorn, put your feet up, and start watching people fight.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to some of this undercard.
Yeah, definitely. So, on that note, I think I'm going to sign off, gentlemen, unless we have more to talk about.
No, this is awesome. Been a great night. We've had a lot of comments, a lot of people watching. Thank you very much, guys.
Definitely.
Remember to like, share, subscribe. If you're going to subscribe to our channel, which I hope you do, remember to ring that notification bell to get our notifications to when we're coming on next. And we do come on quite often.
Yeah, we
More
on
often
every day.
than we do.
We on every day.
Every day except Saturday for some reason.
That's because we're busy watching fights, because that's what we do. We watch fights and we talk about them. So Saturday is our day to do that. But tonight, I'm going to live tweet during it tonight. So I don't care. You follow me on Twitter, man. The original Honey Badger. Bang. Catch me on Twitter, man. And Insta. Same thing, man. We're going to do it, man. I'm going to tweet and Insta through the whole thing. I'm going to watch this. I can't wait. Jab that like, click subscribe, knock out those comments, people. Thanks for watching. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. Or no, sorry, Sunday.
You just said. Just said.
I know. I just said. I'm getting excited, man. My beers are cold and my hands are warm, and I need to, figure that out.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Thanks, Christian. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, good
Have a
viewership.
good night, guys.
We'll see you on this next week, but we'll see Mike on Sunday, and you'll see me on with Bolloré in about
an hour. An hour?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, lads.
Definitely. See. Peace out. Knuckle up.